Hey, thanks for joining me. Let's talk about how to be the best artist in the world. Yeah, imagine you're on stage, everybody's loving you, and you're killing it. You know you're the best artist there is. Oh, that's an amazing feeling. If you haven't felt that before, we're going to talk about how you can do that today for yourself. And you know what? I was recently at a concert for The Killers. If you like The Killers, give me a thumbs up. Oh yeah, I love The Killers. Their lead singer, his name is Brandon Flowers, and I'll be candid with you, I had not really paid attention to The Killers until I went to the concert. They've been around for over 20 years, and Brandon Flowers came out on stage and he took over. He was doing some of the most amazing things I've seen a performer do. One of the best artists in the whole entire world. How did he do it? I'm going to teach you right now. Let's talk about the life cycle of an artist. So you're becoming a performer, you're becoming this artist that people are going to be talking about, but there is a life cycle within that. The first thing is you're going to be a novice. You're starting out, you're just figuring it out. Then you're going to go on a journey till you become a little bit better, more like a pro, and then you'll become masterful. Let's talk first about the novice stage. And this is a great time to learn and create, to grow. One of my favorite examples of this is a guy named Reginald Dwight. Do you remember Reginald Dwight? One of the greatest artists of all time, right? You have no idea who he is. Reginald Dwight met a great lyricist named Bernie Taupin. You see, Reginald was a great singer, songwriter, and piano player. He styled himself after the Beatles, but eventually, when he combined with Bernie Taupin and they put the lyrics into this music, they decided we need a better name. And so the novice of Reginald Dwight became Elton John. Have you heard of Elton John? Yeah, one of the greats of all time. One of the greatest performers and artists who's ever lived. He went through this same arc, and every single artist does. What happens when you're a novice is you have to first start to master the basics. And so he was trying to figure out his voice, his sound, his style. Very much like the first example I shared in this video, Brandon Flowers. When I was watching him on stage, I remember looking at him thinking, man, he's almost doing an impersonation of a couple different artists. There's a little bit of Elvis Presley in there, a little Elvis Costello even, a little bit of Freddie Mercury from Queen. I was noticing just by the way he was moving. And that's when we move into the next phase after novice. That's when you get into intermediate. There's an intermediary between novice and master. Now, when you're in this intermediate phase, this is a great place because this is where you can experiment and actually find your voice. Brandon Flowers is not doing an impersonation of Elvis. No, we don't want to say that, but rather he's taking some of the stylings and then adding his own voice to it. I call this a signature move. You have your signature moves too, and you are a great artist in your own right. If you're sitting there thinking, I don't know what my signature moves are, well, I'm going to help you discover those right now. I want you to go to icmprocess.com. If you check out the ICM process, this will help you identify, clarify, and magnify your artistry signature moves. This is how you keep your promise to your audience and how you can move through that intermediary phase into being the expert and master that you will become. Once you're an expert in the industry, you actually elevate the entire industry. People have done this, such as Michael Jackson, who started out with the Jackson 5. He had this kind of awkward phase of intermediary trying to go solo, and then boom, Thriller. I mean, he took over the world. He changed the industry with that. I believe that every artist has this capability within themselves to get to their best expert level. And let's just talk about the leadership promise that all of us have to be who we truly are. You have a promise to discover it. I believe that you were sent to this earth to find it, to share it, to gift it to the world as only you can. It's part of your promise. I hope you're willing to keep that. The next part is finding your unique genre. Yeah, there's all kinds of different ways to be an artist. Maybe you clicked on this video thinking I was going to talk about painting and art. I've done other videos about that, but this is about artistry and performing in general. So maybe you're going to become a mime or an actor, a musician, a stage performer who does acrobatics. Maybe you're a singer. There's all kinds of different variations upon which you can discover for yourself. One of my very favorites is a guy named Bo Burnham. If you haven't checked out Bo, he actually does comedy, that are original songs, and he does all of this masterful music. Another one of my favorites is Jeff Sevilico. Go check out Jeff. Here's a guy who climbs people's bodies that he brings up out of the audience. He climbs up on them while they hold a giant unicycle, and he slowly makes his way up their body until he gets on the unicycle and they throw marshmallows in his mouth while his hands are tied behind his back. Variety show. Masterful artist, the best in the world at what he does. Each of us have this capability. So let's talk about mastering your craft. Think about the technical skills that you need in order to get to that place of true mastery and being the best artist in the world. Maybe that means you need to take some trainings or go to some workshops. You know, the people that have the broadest ability and depth within their artistry get the most gigs. They make the most influence, it seems. For example, one of my favorite artists, his name is Hugh Jackman. Oh, this guy is incredible. Here's a guy you probably known as the Wolverine, as an actor. He's a great actor, but whoa, he can also sing. And whoa, he's handsome. And whoa, he's buff. He just keeps getting better and better at all the things he wants to be great at. He hosted the Oscars, and it's one of the greatest Oscar hosting jobs anyone has ever done. That comes from practice. That comes from taking plays off Broadway till you're on Broadway. You see what I'm saying? Every single one of us have to just continue to perfect the craft. And I guess I can't mention Hugh Jackman without referencing Ryan Reynolds. Oh man, this guy. These guys are like back and forth, aren't they? They're really good friends. They're in movies together. Now Deadpool has Hugh Jackman in it as well. Think about all the different things that Ryan Reynolds has succeeded at as a comedian, as an actor, and now as a philanthropist, as a business owner. This guy's now a billionaire because he has helped businesses grow to such an extent just by the fact that he's such a beloved artist. Follow him on Twitter or Facebook. It is hilarious on Instagram what he talks about. He's just a masterful artist. There's an overlooked guy that I like to point out. His name is Donald Glover. Maybe you saw him in Star Wars, but he's also got some really amazing songs. He's also known as the Childish Gambino. And I mean, he's made some really interesting music. He's an artist that kind of has a way about doing a little bit of everything, and he's quite masterful. So it's cool to watch the legends who are doing it as some of the best artists in the world. Then there's one you may not have heard of. Her name is Ruthie Ann Miles. Now, Ruthie Ann Miles has starred in The King and I. She's won awards for it. She's probably one of my favorite singers of the Star-Spangled Banner. I mean, this is somebody who's figured out a niche, who is a powerful performer, singer, who evokes emotion. Go check out Ruthie Ann Miles. What I'd love for you to do, if you will, before I continue on through this video, is just go in and comment who is one of your favorite artists in the world. Maybe especially if it's someone I haven't mentioned yet. I'd love to know who you really admire as an artist. And then there's experimentation. As you come up with the innovations and the different ideas within your performing, how you can become an even greater artist. Sometimes it might even be collaborating with another person. One of the greatest examples of this are my friends at the Passing Zone. John and Owen decided to come together in order to form one of the greatest juggling and comedy routines and acts in the world. They did very well on America's Got Talent, but it was because they wanted to combine talents instead of going off on their own. So sometimes, just like with the Bernie Taupin, Elton John story, combining forces is a great one. Go check out Passing Zone. Now let's talk about building your brand as an essential step to becoming a great artist. Think about your brand. What are you known for? What makes you unique? Think about Lady Gaga. This is a person who continually changes her look, changes her sound. We did hear her a lot doing like almost a disco and driving dance music at first, and then, oh, we see her at a piano and she's singing so powerfully. Wait a minute, she duets with Tony Bennett. She's a genius. Okay, that's part of her branding. She continually transforms, leaves us guessing, and wow, now she's an Oscar-worthy actress. What the heck? Yes, she continues to advance her artistry. That's part of her brand. So one of the best ways in order to discover what your brand is and what your signature moves are is through what I call the ICM process. When you identify, clarify, and magnify that which makes you uniquely who you are, wow, now you can share your signature moves as only you can. If you want to learn how to do that, because you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't even know what my signature moves are. Well, out, go see icmprocess.com. Check out this assessment. It's going to change your life, the way that you perform as an artist, and I believe you'll become one of the greatest artists we've ever seen. So when we think about artistry, there is a lot to be said within networking and mentoring in the entertainment business and that world. One of my favorite examples is of my friend Pat Dwyer. Pat started as an improv artist, and now he's taking the world by storm with his comedy teachings. He is such a brilliant person. Now, he reached out to me on LinkedIn to become friends with me. The next thing I know, I'm wanting to learn more from him because he's so good at networking. Some of the greatest artists in the world will never be discovered because they don't bother to network. You need to be willing to reach out to others, to ask for mentoring, to ask for help, and that's a very important part. I would also encourage you to consider looking at an association of which you should belong. For example, if you're a speaker, you want to look at the National Speakers Association. If you're an actor, you want to be in the Screen Actors Guild. There are different places in which you can really find mentoring, find a group, find an association of people who are like you, who are working towards the same goals. And then when it comes to mentorship, hey, there's lots of great mentors out there, but finding the right mentor is very important. It would be fun to mentor with you if you'd like to mentor with me. And I know that there are very few people that work with me in the right way, and this is the reason that it may not be for you. But if it is, I can help you to discover that which makes you uniquely who you are. So just reach out to me and we can make that happen. So if you're really serious about mentoring with me, I would like you to reach out to me personally. Now, I don't share this casually. This is something that I really would encourage you, if you're really serious, email me, jason@jasonhewlett.com. Yes, I will respond to it and I'm excited to hear from you. Just please don't share that with everybody. And make sure in the subject line to put mentoring. I'll talk to you then.